Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for making the effort to come down today. It's fantastic to meet you all and to be here at Burnham Working Men's Club. And a special thanks to Vicky and to Alexa for making it happen. It's exciting as well to have so many Labour Party supporters from across the constituency, from Burnham to Beaconsfield to Burnham, in a room together, and at such short notice too. But I suppose you can blame Theresa May for that one. Some of you in this room fought valiantly in the local elections a few weeks back, and we had a Labour candidate in every division across the Beaconsfield constituency. So well done to all involved. I'm sure all of you here remember where you were when the Prime Minister called this snap election. I was actually, and do forgive the blandness of this, in a meeting, rather tired after a long bank holiday weekend. I headed out of the meeting around midday, sun was shining, and my colleague turned to me and said, "May's done it. She's called an election, early June, didn't see that coming. Did you?" Well, in truth, I didn't. I thought about it for a bit, and then a few things happened. First, I rolled my eyes at the thought of several weeks of empty Tory soundbites about so-called stability and long-term economic plans. That was going to be inevitable, for sure. I then turned to calculating what this might mean for the country at such a critical time. A time when cuts are on the cards, real-time wages are at their lowest in years, and food banks are feeding the nation. This is serious. And I don't know about you, but I contemplated the prospect of Labour, under the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn, forming a government to try and change all of that. And there and then I made a decision to try and fight for just that, a Labour government. And I made a decision to fight for just that at home, here, in the constituency of Beaconsfield. Now, let me be frank. We've got our work cut out here. I know that, and I get that. The last three election results read Tory, Tory, and then Tory. The three before that read Tory, Tory, and then Tory. And the three before that read, well, I suppose you get where I'm coming from. And you know that too, better than I do. But I want you to know that I'm here to fight for Labour in this election and in this constituency. What I want to achieve across Beaconsfield is to get our Labour ideas for the country out to as many people as is humanly possible, to highlight some very important issues and to convince a good handful of people to consider the alternative, a Labour government. That's the message I want to get across in Beaconsfield. Let's consider the alternative, a Labour government working for the many and not just the few. So before we get on with that, there are three things I wanted to cover today. One, to tell you a little bit more about myself. Two, to touch on the issues that are important to me, that I want to get across to voters. And three, to talk about how I believe we can go about doing that. I won't take long. The main purpose for getting together here today is to meet all of you after this speech. This is our campaign after all. We're here today because we're all Labour. We believe fundamentally that the government can do more for its people, whether to achieve social justice, support the more vulnerable, or invest in public services. And we believe fundamentally that Labour in government, local and national, is far better than the Tories or any other party in government. That's the truth, because that's Labour. So who am I? Why am I taking that message to the people of this constituency? I'm James English, I've lived most of my life in Beaconsfield, and I'm passionate about local life here. Farnham Common is my home. I went to the junior school there before moving to the middle school. I've got great memories from both. At 18, I went up north to study history at Durham University. The university itself is just a few miles from where my extended family are from, and still live. I focused at Durham on political history, completing my final year dissertation on the miners' strike of 1984-85, and the broader implications it had for the Labour Party and the Labour movement. And that's when it hit me, personally. I think everybody has a moment when they realise that they're Labour, and that was mine. I interviewed ex-miners, trade union figures, shopkeepers from across County Durham. I uncovered stories of personal triumph, of personal tragedy, of friendships and of failures, of community and of cooperation. And it made me realise, above all, that politics is about people, that people's lives depend on politics. So therefore, politics is about decency, it's about community, it's about social responsibility. It's about people helping other people. When that falls down, it all falls down, and it's only the Labour Party that truly understands that. So that's me. And what about this election? Well, there are a few things I think we should be focusing on in this campaign. The NHS. In particular, the strain that our NHS has been put under by efficiency targets, administrative pressure and cuts. It's a no-brainer to protect one of our country's and Labour's greatest success stories, and one of society's most basic functions, fair access to good healthcare. Local services, like adult social care, public parks, libraries. I know that local budgets are under immense pressure, and that this is only going to get worse. I worked for years in libraries across this very constituency, and I see them now under increased pressure, and in many areas reliant on the work of tireless volunteers. We can do more to help. Education. Our schools' budgets are facing serious cuts, and teachers themselves know the rate of these cuts is not viable. Slashes to the Education Services Grant are forcing Buckinghamshire schools to make decisions at the expense of a good education for Bucks kids. Reducing school staff, increasing class sizes, and limiting the range of subjects that are on offer. And Brexit. Well, who can forget? The Tories have been nothing but reckless on this issue. They have taken access to the single market off the table entirely. That's 45% of our exports, and rights and jobs that millions of working people rely upon. And that's not good enough. So I want to support Labour's push for a reasoned approach to negotiation that reflects the complexity of the process, and one that recognises the reality that millions of working people depend on the outcome of these negotiations, including in Beaconsfield. So, to get these points across, we were out leafleting this morning. We'll be doing so right up until the election. We'll be door knocking too, and we'll be giving it a good go at the hustings. In fact, we'll be out on the streets every weekend between now and June the 8th. Next weekend we'll be in Farnham Common, and I really hope all of you here can join us there. And I just want to finish by saying this. Some of the issues I've touched upon make me concerned, and some make me worried. And some, frankly, make me very angry. But what they make me feel too is motivated to do something about the state of this country. And I know that they make you feel motivated too. I know that when you heard about this election, you had the same feelings of anticipation, that same desire to do something to make things better in this country. And that's why I'm immensely proud to be the Labour Party's candidate for Beaconsfield and to be out with you all today. So let's carry on getting our message out. I'm going to come around the room now, meet you all, and thank you very much for listening.